Good evening and welcome to Hardlines with Hardliners. I am your host, Sheba Msunga. We are back again with another exciting segment of Hardlines with Mr. Prince Chanda. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. Evening, viewers.
Yeah. Lately we haven't been wasting much of the time. We just dive into the questions. Yeah, we move, Okay, yeah. So, following the death of the former head of state, who was the chairperson of Tonse Alliance and PF party president, moving forward, do we see unity, the purpose of unity, or we should expect factions? If so, how do you intend to defeat the current regime?
First of all, politics is very dynamic. You have to understand, first of all, that what creates disunity, where unity is expected, are different ambitions harbored by different individuals for different interests. Sometimes we have to understand the reality and the fact that there are people that want to have a president as someone they know close to them, someone they are familiar with. So that's why you see groupings of people. This one says, I want to be president, and those who think that they only need the president they know, they'll follow that person. It is rare that you find people propelling someone because this person is competent, is capable of getting them victory, is capable of running a country effectively, and is a person that they can consider a patriot. Rarely do people consider such things when talking about these political party presidents and all. And now with issues of alliances, it is probable to suggest that we may have unity or we may have factions, depending on the interest groups and what really informs their decision on such aspects of choosing a leader who must defeat the current government, if need be, as an alliance or as an individual. First of all, you must also take it into consideration that when President Lungu was alive, he was a unifying factor. I think he was the authority that a lot of people who do gravitate towards and listen to him. There will be people that will undermine him, but they will still be seen to be sitting in his presence and be able to take his counsel, even if they will disregard it the moment they walk out of the house or the meeting. So now, in the absence of that, a leader who was more like a uniting factor, you expect some people to be unruly in the way they are going to tackle politics. You expect also a lot of them to undermine each other because they think, some of them will think they are more privileged or they are in a position of advantage than the others. So those things are expected. The question is, what should be the expectation of the people and what should the leaders consider after this situation that has befallen our country?
Yes.
Number one, I think that unity is possible within the Tonse Alliance and within the Patriotic Front family. Patriotic Front has been pushed right, left, and center. Its membership remain intact. Its party leadership at the district, provincial, and maybe branch level are intact. The issue is the leader, the figure above that should be president to unite everyone, to speak one accord, is what has been lacking in PF. This is why you have seen that despite the current regime doing its own gymnastics through the abuse of the law, which is their household name now, toasting PF right, left, and center. First, they get a party, give it to someone that they thought was going to be to destabilize the party. The membership still remained intact. They picked somebody else who is just a one individual who has no influence anywhere in the Patriotic Front. They gave them the papers that they are the president of PF against the court of law ruling on who should be considered as the PF president. So all these things speaks to the fact that it is not possible to expect PF to disintegrate. What is possible is that there is likely to be a confusion on who becomes president. But even if that was to be the case, we expect wisdom to prevail because we have alliance members from different political parties that forms the Tonse Alliance. The objective of the Tonse Alliance was to unite oppositions in order to defeat the incumbent as one force. But we have also seen wrangles within the alliances.
Exactly.
Even before the president died, we saw a lot of indiscipline going on among our leaders from different groupings.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's true.
That is why I have said I don't believe that alliances should be everything we must be singing about if those alliances are not driven by the unit of purpose, and also that the parties that are in that alliance are not election ready. Because you cannot just have an alliance member, one individual, as a president of a political party on paper. They have no structure anywhere across the country. And you parade them and give them a mic to talk, and you give them authority. Because that a person doesn't even have authority over a district chairman of PF or any other political party that has got structures. That person doesn't even have authority over a section chairman who has even 50 people. But this is a person you are fronting, this is a leader. Their incapacity to mobilize their own party before they can think of an alliance should be disqualification enough. But for the sake of what is called unity, you can embrace them, but you urge them to say, as a political party, begin to mobilize. You should have resources. You should have connections. You should have the structure. You should come to the table with the numbers, because politics is about numbers, and PF has numbers. The other political parties have numbers, even those that are not within the Tonse Alliance. So that, for me, that should be the beginning of everything that should happen as we go forward. The alliance members, political parties, must come to the table with membership. When they say let's mobilize, they should not just say let's mobilize as Tonse Alliance or whatever alliances. They must mobilize first at individual political party level. They go to the ground, put up a structure, and then come to say, okay, countrywide, we've got all the structures. We have these people that we have told to go flat out and campaign now for the alliance. But as a political party, we have these people. They should say, okay, fine, from our analysis, we can only win convincingly 10 seats across the country as a political party with now your help in terms of resources or in terms of strategy. So these constituencies, these 10, we are capable of winning them as alliance member of this alliance. That is what should be on the table. If people have to be tactical strategists to beat the incumbent, it's not very difficult to beat because he's hanging on lawlessness as a drive to retaining power. Now, you cannot ride on lawlessness as a leader to retain power, and you encourage that among your supporters, because people may not be always afraid of the things you are scheming against them. So if people woke up without fear for the schemes you are putting up, then you have no authority as a leader. So for me, I don't like to talk about President Hichilema and his chances of winning the election in 2026, because I know he's the weakest, and I know that he has no strategy. His people are only hanging on that you continue protecting them whilst they are doing wrong, and you continue abusing the law and the law enforcement agencies in order to give them an advantage. The alliance members must think through, must find a person that would bridge the gap, that would be a bridge on the side of the common people and the elitist few. The common people are majority, the elitist few. Somebody must be able to bridge that. The interplay between the elite and the common person must be played by a person who can blend in both groupings.
Yeah.
They also must consider age I'll tell you here that President Lungu's desire wasn't to field in an elder person as a president. That was not his desire. And he said that over and over. He wanted to hand over to a young generation. Even if he went through himself for a fact that he had the capacity to support us, his winning was still meant to bring in young people. That was what his desire was. So among them as leaders, they must look at who is capable of influencing the young generation. The people that are going to vote in 2026 are our children. So we are the right people to talk to our children, not the grandfathers. Okay? So meaning that when they are considering choosing a leader, they must have us in mind with our children that we should get the message. Okay, which message do we take to the children? This is the message. It should be easier. But if they are going to put up leaders that have outlived their influences, spent forces, if you like, they are going to be there's going to be a problem, and we might just be giving the incumbent a green light to win again and continue abusing the law. Recently, you've seen that in a game of football, the referee must play a role that is very neutral.
That's true.
So now we have a lot of referees in this political setup that we have. We have a referee in parliament who is the speaker and the deputy speaker.
Yes.
You have a referee at political level at Electoral Commission of Zambia. That is a referee. You have the Inspector General of Police. That is a referee. Okay? So, and you have the Chief Justice as also a referee. So all these referees form what you call state. When you have the police, you have the army, you have all these people. Those are state institutions. So they form the state. Then you have government, the executive, which also has the institutions it control, which are supposed to be autonomous, which must be independent in their operation but stick to their mandate. So if you are dealing with a person that wants all the referees to give them a through ball, a free kick, and a penalty, then you've got to be very tactical in your operations to beat that particular person. So even when you sit to say, let's choose a leader, you are considering those factors. When you talk about strategy, a strategy is a long-term objective goal that doesn't change easily. Then when you talk about a tactic, it is a course of action, the tasks you have to undertake to achieve the strategic objective. So the tactic can change depending on how you think it is working or not working. But the strategic objective remains. In this case, what is a strategic objective that is long-term that must stand? It is removing the incumbent political party. That's a strategic objective. So now when you have that strategic objective, you now have to look at the tactics. So you need tacticians now to tell you, we must move this direction. If this doesn't work, we must apply this. So you keep changing the tactics so that you achieve the long-term objective, which you don't really change. Because there is no point where any political party will say, at this point, let's just let the UPND be. No, everyone wants to remove them. So their strategic objective is to remove the incumbent. Their tactics is to ensure that they achieve that. So when you go back to all these political parties that are within the alliance, you see most of them are very mischievous. They do not really mean to unite with many other. They only want to exist in those alliances in a hope that they will be given the role as the president or the running mate in that particular alliance. That is very deceptive because, like I keep saying, people must be able to see that you are a leader. They must begin to say, okay, this one can lead us. Okay, we can unite around this authority. That's what people must say. But if you're going to be imposing yourself on that leadership role, then you are the worse than any other thing that we can talk about. I'll give you a practical example that I witnessed President Lungu say with with anguish in his eyes and in his tone. There was a point he said, you see the problem I have, a lot of people that come here to tell me what I should do or that I should endorse them, or even those I could maybe have endorsed, is that they are not sincere, okay? They sit here and smile at me. Behind the scene, they sponsor people to insult me. I read all these Facebook pages. I understand some of the people who behave like that towards me.
That was very bad.
But they think I don't know. So when I tell you this one cannot be president, I'll tell you the reason is that they are not sincere. They are very insincere and they are not patient. So when he talks like that, then he says, for instance, I know the example would give me, he says, for instance, do you know how Koswe Hot Dog report about me? I say, yes. He says, but we know that is UPND. I said, yes. So we expect such, yes. Then he says, you know how Munyaure page talk about me? That coward money, a sick money, a selfish money. You know how Munyaure speak about me? I say, yes, Mr. President. Then he says, I am former president. I was head of state. So what will you do tomorrow if you learned that Munyaure is PF infrastructure? Okay? Now, at that point, I stopped to think. And I'm like, why would a president talk like that? Then I'm forced to go back to the page and start reading those articles that attacked the former president.
Yes, yes.
Then I started thinking, it can't be. Then you just smile and say, Mr. Hardliner, me, I was former president. I was commander-in-chief. I can have information that I want. Just know that what kills PF is that a lot of people are not sincere with what they say in our face. When they say this today, tomorrow they'll say something else. Even on crucial situations where some of us would ask, Mr. President, but this person seems to be undermining you on this score, but why are you not seeing it yourself? Because even their utterances, their behavior, they are clearly undermining you. You laugh and say, what do you think this person is doing to undermine me? Then you cite maybe a public behavior that somebody exhibited or a statement. Then he goes, looks at you and says, at the end of the day, this person has done worse things than what you are telling me. And I'm aware. But I entertain them. Because even Jesus knew that Judas was going to betray him. So sometimes there are people that are good at something. So despite you know that this one cannot play this role, but there's a role they can play effectively. So you keep them. And as a father, you cannot discard your children if you know that they are misbehaving. You will have such discussions. When the day Munyaure was discovered by government and few people were arrested, and it became apparently clear that PF leadership, some of the PF leadership may have had a role to play, I was heartbroken. Do you know what he said?
No.
We met at a certain point, then he says, he sent a message to say, I'm told Munyaure has been closed. I said, yes, we are getting reports that it has been closed and that there are names that are being said could be behind it. And it's shocking because these are mere propaganda. Then he says, do you remember me telling you what will you do if some of the people that you believe in PF are the people that insult me? And the same people are the people that come and smile in my face. I said, yes, Mr. President, I remember it. So that is PF for you. So all you do is continue hedging these people through your write-ups to embrace unity and also to be tolerant to one another. Because if I wasn't just tolerant, I wouldn't have interacted with a lot of people after I lost power. I understood the real intention behind some of the people that I brought very closer to my heart. But I've learned my own lesson. I've grown wiser. If I returned to presidency, I'll be able to do what I shouldn't have done, maybe, to maintain power. Mm-hmm. So for me, all that you are asking depends on how sincere these people are going to be to one another. Because already they are attacking each other indirectly. Each person has got a group, be it from other political parties. You have all this confusion going on. Yes. Then within the Patriotic Front, we have people aspiring to be presidents. I don't have a problem when people are aspiring or having ambitions. It doesn't matter what ambition, no matter how big. But if your ambition clouds your reasoning to where you forget that your actions could be injuring another person who tomorrow might become your leader, then your ambition is useless. You don't even need to pursue it because you're going to destroy yourself. There are people who are on social media who are just insulting the expected leadership entrants are being insulted every day because some politicians within the Patriotic Front, the only politics they know is to go and sponsor someone who thinks with a stomach to insult their opponent. They even know that in this matter, I want to attack hardliner. He's a guy that would walk to me and tell me this is nonsense. So if I'm to attack him, I need to find someone who thinks with his stomach and give him something and say, go and insult hardliner. Now, if tomorrow hardliner is a leader and is just tolerating you, is aware of what you are doing, tomorrow you're going to cry that people are bad. So such things for me cause for serious introspection. What is the objective of the opposition and the alliance? Is it just to exist as I'm a political party leader? I'm the alliance chairperson? I'm so no. It is to ensure that come the time of elections, you are going to be able to marshal up a plan that would unseat the incumbent for the sake of people that think that this regime has failed and they are looking forward for someone to come and help them.
Yes, that's true. What should the opposition consider when choosing a party president?
Like I earlier said, they have to look at someone who's going to bridge between the elitist few and the majority common people. That is one. Secondly, somebody who should have the capacity. I've heard a lot of nonsense from these wannabe politicians or wannabe strategists, wannabe tacticians, who just think that what the Patriotic Front need is someone who can source for money. That is one thing. Even the monies that they could be talking about, you start laughing. To win an election takes a lot. It doesn't just take money. Yes. RB had so much money in 2011 compared to PF, which was in opposition. But he still lost the elections, while the votes were being counted and other people were voting. Okay? In 2021, Patriotic Front was in power. They had money, too much money.
And they had power.
They had power and the money. They lost the elections. So when I sit with some of these people who are carrying themselves as the kingmaker to these individuals, too good for nothing, they are propelling, and they say, no, we have got funders that can fund this person if we choose this person. I laugh. First of all, the candidates they are propelling betrayed the person that trusted them. The candidate that they are propelling has shown that they cannot unite anybody. They have shown that they cannot get a phone call and say, Madam Sheba, yesterday somebody called me and said something bad about you that you could have said about me. Now, as a leader, I want to meet you and discuss. Such leaders are not able to do that. What are they going to do? What do they do? When they hear that Sheba is supporting candidate C, childish, being so childish like little babies, they avoid talking to you. For your democratic right that you have chosen candidate B, that you can flow with them, then that candidate stops talking to you. Now, if you are a factor in the next elections, and the one they want to choose says, can't talk to you because you chose candidate B. So if they are chosen as candidate A, would you have confidence to support them? No. Because you already know that this one is childish, this one is not a leader. I've had practical experiences in PF sometimes where you are calling someone, you have something you need to discuss with them that is very important politically, and the whole day they are not picking your call. Then me being the hardliner that I am, I would pursue them, I will start looking for where they are. So that when I'm in view with them, then I make a call. Because I want to know, are they avoiding my call or they are busy? I've done that several times, and I laugh when I find leaders, they are looking at you. You know, God has given me a gift, a spiritual gift within me. So sometimes I'll just look at you with your demeanor there and say, okay, so what that person said was true. Then you see them seated. Then you make a call. They get the phone, they watch it, then they put it down. 3 calls you call, they get the phone, they put it down. They are not with anybody, they are just seated. Then I know that one can't be a leader. So when people are preparing such kind of leadership, then you know that we have a bigger problem. Leadership should be selfless. Leadership should be, this one does not agree with me. Let me sit with them and see how I can convince them to agree with me. Let me give this person the strategies that I have, so that if they have a better strategy, we see how we can blend the strategies. Then we propel the right cause for the greater good of the majority citizens that are suffering at the hands of this ruthless and the criminal government that is perpetrating a lot of criminality without deterring, first of all, its supporters and even its state department individuals that are running them. Because you have a situation where people are being reported to the police for things that the opposition themselves would say publicly. A comrade of ours, Binwell, we read in social media that was alleged that was supposed to be slapped with a treason charge.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes. Now, treason charge for what? Binwell on social media said the way people are injuring, when people are being injured, I was in Kawambwa, Peter Chandale, the current NCP president whose party is being used as a vehicle, was stabbed with a knife. The other lady was stabbed also on the ground and they were robbed her phone. A lot of people were injured and Sean Tembo is pursued in the bush. So now you have been Wampundu goes to his Facebook page and say, defend yourself with the same measure that the aggressor is coming with. How does that become treason? How does that become seditious? On video and in camera, evidence is there that President Ichilima urged his supporters to defend themselves. He was not given a seditious charge for that statement. He was not told, you are inciting people to rise against a legitimate government. You know, this government threatened the public peace when they were in opposition. This regime, when they were in opposition, threatened public peace by their utterances. You all know what Watchdog would write, inciting people. But when you look at them today in power, and they are going to call a person who say, when you are attacked, defend yourself with the same tenacity or same measure. The way it is, me, I'm a student of self-defense. You understand? In self-defense, you are defending yourself from being injured or being killed. What are you expected to do? Is to assess the way the aggressor is approaching you, and if they are armed, what weapon do they have? You have to consider a lot of factors before you can attack. As a student of self-defense, you are taught to consider a lot of factors before you can retaliate. And that should be within not minutes, but seconds. First of all, if there's a chance to run. That's the first step. If there is a chance to beg that you don't get to be in such a situation, beg the aggressor. If you have anything that the aggressor is after, and you are able to give the aggressor without him injuring you, give. If all these 3 things cannot happen, the aggressor is determined to take your life or to fight you, you now have to consider what weapon does this aggressor have. Let's say he's got a gun, okay? So he has got a gun, he will pull a gun. You do not have anything. Or he has got a machete. Now, your decision to defend yourself must be speed with precision, and you attack on a point on their body where they should not move. You attack with intensity to paralyze them and run if you have to run. That is according to self-defense. You have to determine all these factors that I've told you within seconds and choose to react and defend yourself. There is nothing like seditious when somebody says, defend yourself. If I've got a gun in my waist and you enter into my yard, you intrude in my house, and your gun is in my view, and I know you are an aggressor, it is who shoots first. There's nothing like you start negotiating. No, the aggressor's jumped your offense is in your yard. You check is armed. It is who shoots first. You defend yourself. So when somebody says, defend yourself when or if attacked, they have not committed any crime. They are simply saying, no one must attack you, whilst you give them authority. You should not be the one to be injured when you are being attacked. You should stay alive. So when you look at that behavior by this regime, where they are tailoring everything wrong on the side of the opposition, and on the side of the ruling, they are okay. I always give example that a lot of PF cadres were arrested under PF and jailed when President Lungu was president. That is how President Lungu respected the rule of law. A lot of PF cadres were arrested under PF and they were jailed. Why? President Lungu respected the rule of law. The PF respected the rule of law. So to deal with this government that wants to jail everyone that is opposing them, you have to be very tactical as a team. Because there is nothing like you don't have a criminal record to be on the ballot. These guys have the capacity to manufacture anything, to just even suppress you for nothing. A lot of people are being suppressed. People who are committing crimes are being watched. But if you are an opposition person and you are speaking for the opposition, they are watching you with their eyes for cyber law. But the other side, they can say anything they want to say. Every time you go to social media, UPND is insulting, you say something, they are telling you that be careful to kukonkana cyber law. And yet you are going to respond to a cyber bullying or cyber attack on another person. So meaning that it's a collective agenda for the UPND to use cyber law to suppress the opposition, to use the hate speech to suppress the opposition. Today you have a person in prison by the name Chimbaka Mbwiri. Chimbaka Mbwiri's utterances have been said by so many people from the UPND. There's a mayor, is it a councillor, who said the same thing that Chimbaka Mbwiri said elsewhere. Some ministers are alleged to have called other people monkeys. There's a video that is circulating. I don't know who that woman is who was saying, power for only 4 years, one term, and they want to come and take power. I read that, I've got that video, I don't know who. So the opposition must always know that the agenda is to silence them. It doesn't matter whether they have committed the crime, as long as the ruling government considers it that it is enough to silence them, they would go ahead. Today we have seen what is happening to our comrade Binwo, and we know what he said. He simply said, when you are attacked, defend yourself with equal measure, which is okay. So I don't know which court will convict Binwo on that statement. When we are in opposition, I remember, when we were in opposition, Honorable GBM was in UPND. There was a time the UPND were attacked in Chiranga. And both the UPND leadership and our brother said, ngawaisa mkumikoma na mapanga, it's panga for panga. That is the self-defense. No one went and arrested anybody to say, if mwalanda ba UPND, mwachita so. No. When we were in opposition, when MMD was in power, there was a time MMD was attacking us. Our SG, Honorable Winter Kabimba, said, when they come with pangas, use pangas, it's panga for panga. We were in opposition at that time. It was defend yourself with what they have come with. Ngasa na knife, defend yourself with a knife. So those things were being said as a deterrent for those who were going to attack us, to say, right to defend. And then also to know that the only prerequisite for you to defend yourself is when you are attacked. How can you defend yourself when you're not attacked? You're an aggressor. So for me, when I look at the opposition and what they're doing, and how they are delaying to make a sound decision on who they are running with tells me that they don't know the capacity and what this regime is determined to do in order to stop them. So the consideration is someone should have the capacity to mobilize people. Someone should have the skill to bring everyone around them and be able to champion a cause that is for the greater good of the Zambian people and the suffering masses. Those should be the consideration, not any other. When we talk about capacity, it's about money, of course. It's not just about money. The capacity to convince people who should come and support us. Who can be trusted? The capacity for someone to be trusted is also capacity needed. Because if you choose me as a president of the alliance, how many people are able to respect me and support me because they consider me as a man of integrity? That is a capacity. Because people should be able to trust me. It's a strength. So if you're going to pick someone that only has got maybe 5 people that believes in them, that can support them, then you go ranting to say, because you look just associate, then you are making a mistake. You need someone who can have local connections and international connection. International connection to people who matters in the political circles. Globally, there are people that matter in politics around the world who you can get one phone call and say, I've been picked as a presidential candidate in this particular election that is coming, and I seek your support. That person should be, okay, what is your name? Or I'm so. They should go and find you either on internet or in other places that, yes, you exist, and there's a level of integrity that you have accumulated around you because you have maintained a good name. They can trust you. There are people that I can tell you that people that matters around the world, globally and locally, represented here and elsewhere, who have clearly said, this candidate, we can support. Why? Because we have history as PF. We had local people who are supporting us. Okay? Some of them, these are people that we related with well. They are saying, no, I can't touch my call to call anybody to support. So you need to find someone who has the credibility. So that is also very important. Some of these people that are talking, they just want it for the sake of being called president. Yeah.
Okay. Looking at the current constitution, which mandates the president should be chosen at the same time as a running mate, how best should a running mate be picked and by who?
Well, that is a very interesting question. You need to understand, first of all, that a running mate is a potential president by virtue of the constitutional provision.
Okay.
If I am a president, I die today, my running mate simply takes over. The running mate must act as president in my absence because that's a potential president. When you have a running mate who is your vice president and you think twice leaving them to act as president, then that running mate was not picked with trust and sincerity. It was maybe because they came with an advantage to make you win an election. Maybe they have some influence from somewhere, okay? So my take on who must pick the running mate and how the running mate must be picked, I think that what is important is to find a president. When you choose a president, let that president have a say on whom they want to be their running mate. That is okay. Because a running mate should be a body that you can trust. Body, I'm going out of the country, here is the authority, act as president. When you are sick, you should be able to say, call my running mate. You are giving them handover notes while you are sick because you don't know whether you are going to make it. Now, when you have a running mate and you feel sick, and your people must protect your sickness in order to navigate how they can sit together and choose a president away from the running mate, then that's a circus. You understand?
I do.
So for me, it's a president that's important to choose. You choose a president, this is the president you're going to have. And let that president have a say on the running mate. So, who will you be comfortable to work with? Because that president also should know that the running mate should come with certain influence.
Even if the party does not support the running mate, as long as the president wants that person to, they should go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. First of all, the president you choose knows the importance of having a running mate who has some attributes and influence. But what I am saying is, the president should have the say on who becomes the running mate.
Not the party.
Not really the party. The president can say, okay, I think from this group, I can work with these people better, and these people can have these influences from there. But if you're going to say, okay, this is a president, and then you impose a running mate, that is chaos. When I say a running mate is a potential president, a running mate can scheme against you. Now, especially if you get a running mate who was very ambitious and thought you are the one they are the ones that are supposed to be there, and then you make them a running mate, and they know that if you drop dead today, they are the president. What do you think a relationship will be? The relationship will be very tricky and dicey.
Yes.
So these are things that people must be level-headed when discussing or addressing. Leadership should be where you feel you believe and think that, okay, on this particular issue, I am not the best. Let the best take it. To want to be there or to people to support you because they want to have a president they know is wrong. In a way, I am panopondine. Even if the alliance or the PF or the alliance member picked somebody else I don't know as a president, if that is a capable person, I do not have a problem. If that is a competent person who can win us an election, that is not a problem. Why? Because I do not think government is limited, where I should know the president. Then there's a problem. For me to feel Zambian and to feel we have taken power, I should know the president at this range. Then the government is too small. Because if I'm a businessman, the president doesn't give business, isn't it? There are all these ministers, all these permanent secretaries, all these departments. And then even if I'm desiring to be made a PS or a DC, I should have demonstrated capacity and competence. And I should be capable of saying, if this person is they're going to choose and he's the one who's going to do this, he should be able to see what I'm capable. So I should demonstrate my capability in the run-up to the election. Then I should deserve a position. But if I want to deserve a position through patronizing the leadership, that is something that I don't condone. That is why I love those leaders when they are elected, they avoid those that patronize them and pick people that are competent. Patronage has destroyed this country. Patronage has destroyed the presidency because people who are too familiar are the ones that destroy your name. People who are not familiar with you, they will treat you based on what you bring on the table. They will look at your competencies and your capacity and the several abilities that God has given you. But the familiar will not follow all that. They'll just undermine you and disrespect you and insult you and think that you owe them favor because they supported you. So we must avoid all that. If we have to choose a running mate, let the person they are going to choose as a president have also a say to say, I can work better with this. These are the people that I think have this influence. So from this, I can work better with this one and this one and this one. That is okay for me. That is what I would advise if I was to be asked that question.
Do you think there is hope for the Zambian people who feels this current regime has failed them? Do you see, is there hope for, such people? Because there are a lot of people who are saying, no, this current regime is not doing us, it's not working, it's not doing what? And there are those who are saying, who are in support of the current regime. But in this matter, I'm talking about the ones who feel they've been failed despite them being supported in the previous election.
UPND did not win the elections because they were popular. UPND won the election because PF became very arrogant to listen from the people, and they began to do things that were injuring the masses. The poor people were the majority.
True.
And that is how UPND became the next the next best. Not that they trusted, people respected UPND, no. UPND did nothing to deserve the presidents that they have today. It is the PF that did so many wrong things that people wanted them to address. Cadarism or thuggerism or Reaganism. And then also the arrogance where people started awarding themselves the contract. People said, there were a lot of things that were happening under PF. Okay? And at that time, people thought Mirimi was expensive. Fuel was expensive. The dollar exchange rate was too high. And that the farmers also, their fertilizer was too high. This regime was going to UPND regime was going to reduce all that. Okay? So, to think that there is no hope looking at the 4 years of UPND, it will be just because some of the people who are lining up for presidency are lacking tact and strategy. That's the only way people can lose hope. But I can tell you that UPND is gone. UPND is gone to the extent that the only thing they are hoping for is that they will manage to intimidate citizens, but that is unlikely. I've seen 2 elections, successful elections, where regime changes, 2011 and 2021. There is this picture people give presidents, that presidents can maneuver things and hold on to it. It doesn't happen. When President Ichirema casts his vote, he goes to sit and start following things like every other person. Okay? There are people that control countries and governments. And to look at what is happening today, the way the UPND has become so arrogant, what it took PF 10 years to become arrogant, it has taken UPND, it took UPND the first 1 year to be arrogant. And they've been arrogant throughout for the past 3 years, plus the first year, that is 4 years. The very things that the UPND have done, thinking they are choking the opposition, are the things that have put a last nail in their coffin. The young people voted for them to be in power. They believed them. They said they were going to make sure that the cyberspace is left to be operated by the young people the way they are to be used, the way they want to use it, right? They have choked that. Who are they injured? Who is on TikTok? Is it my mother or my grandfather? It's the young people.
The young people.
Who is expressing their displeasure in the way this government has behaved? It is the young people. Who are they arresting with cyber law? It is the young people. So, that is number one. They promised that they would repeal the cyber law, which was meant to curtail cyberbullying, where somebody gets your picture and use it on social media maliciously. That's what the PF wanted to stop, cyberbullying. And the president now, President Ichirema, said, that was meant to suppress the people. The only right that they have, the only thing that is keeping people alive is being on social media. But this government has done this. I'll repeal this law. He came there and tailored the same law and made it very, very complicated and injurious to the young people that voted for him. What else has he done? He has forgotten that PF was considered most corrupt according to President Ichirema. And to this day, for 4 years now, he has been told about the corrupt ministers, corrupt government departments, and corrupt individuals and businessmen. He has been told several times. He has had these reports. What does he do? When he's just supposed to have a press conference and fire people, replace them or suspend them, like he would age his friends, he's now writing letters on State House letterhead that he is going to concede, he is going to crack a whip. No one will be spared. You don't threaten such action. You just act. So the corruption that PF lost power for is being perpetrated under this regime. 156 ambulances have not been brought to this country for the past 3-4 years. They are not in this country. Only 11 came. They were paid for, or partially paid, or paid for all of them. Okay? They have not come. How many people are involved in that procurement? It can't be a minister. If it can be a minister, maybe the minister could have had influence, but I can't talk about a minister. It's a procurement department. The PS and everybody directed, all these people, expert and all that. Because you can't just buy cars for a government without having all these experts. Which expert went to assess where the ambulance were coming from? Why are they not in jail? Who bid for the same? Was it one person who is alleged to have run away? There are many other people. So, such a situation where you have 156 ambulances not in the country, only 11, and you are saying no one is going to be spared, you're not serious. He must show cause why people must vote for him, that is, the UPND is not as corrupt as PF, if not more than PF. When it comes to the abuse of the law, to the rule of law, he must show cause for the citizen, say now he's observing the rule of law. Rule of law, or what should I say? Rule of law is where every citizen is bound by the laws that are made for this country. Is where the laws are being applied equally. If I insult you, if I insult you, insult me back. There's no way you should be the one to be picked. You are responding to my insult, to you. Meaning that you and me, if insult is wrong, you should be arrested.
That's true.
If I go and utter a tribal remark in public, and it is there, it's evident that I did that, and another person does the same, applying the law equally, or the rule of law suggests that both of these people must be taken to court. If these two people are going to be taken to court and fined, that is the rule of law. But if one person is going to be arrested and the other left insulting, that is lawlessness. UPND must show cause to be trusted that they are observing the rule of law. If a member of parliament commits an offense and another person who commits an offense is not a member of parliament, they should show cause why people must not think they just want to grab seats. That's why they're concentrating on the parliamentarians. Those are things that made PF lose power to some extent when they perpetrated them. Now, UPND is doing them to a full scale, openly, without shame. So how then do you fear such kind of group of people who did not contribute to them winning the election, but the other people created the problem themselves?
Sorry to interject you
Please.
on that. You are saying the PF were removed in power because of the mistakes they made.
Yes.
Now you want to be elected back into the system. What assurance are you giving the people of Zambia to say you learned your lessons from your previous mistakes, or are they going to make another mistake of re-electing the PF in power?
That's why I said I saw the cadres under PF arrested. I saw PF leaders under the PF arrested. Okay? I saw President Ichirema make statements that were very dangerous for this country and its peace. And a call out was sent to him. He appeared in court like any other normal citizen. And some of those cases, he won. I saw that. What I have seen is that the UPND, when they go to court, they want to win every case. Even the PF at its point then, where they were in 2021, you ask the citizens, can you accept to retain PF as it was at 2021? Forget about the lessons they have learned. I know they have learned. But just as they were, bring them back. Citizens will tell you yes. UPND cadres will say no. Today, go to social media. There's something consistent about the negative comments that the opposition receive. It comes from the UPND supporters. But when you follow them, you realize that there's something more consistent about the negative comments from those that supports the ruling government. It should tell you that UPND is gone. Go to any page of any leader today on social media who is in opposition or in PF. Get a pen and paper, write down the negative comments. Two things will be consistent. Those are praise singers who support UPND. Then those are people who form part of the stronghold of UPND, which only gave them 1 million cooked one. So when you analyze politics like that, You will not struggle to wonder whether UPND can be beaten or not. That's why I don't dwell on the UPND failures, because they have already failed. They are out. I dwell on them, on the abuse of the law, because that is the only strength they have, which will not help them. Why? Because the Zambian people have seen them for who they are. The Patriotic Front did a lot of wrong things, admittedly, and they have learned from them, okay? If you ask, there was a time I told someone to say, you see, the Patriotic Front, if you ask the Patriotic Front today, say, how did you lose power? They will tell you that we wish we abused the power the way Hichilema is abusing the power. Because then you could have just been arresting them. Maybe even when he was in prison, you shouldn't have given him a nole, released him on nole. You understand? So if you have people who say, but the only thing we didn't do is abuse power to this extent. You understand? So for me, I can tell you here that when I say PF made mistakes, it is the mistakes that I think they learned from, and they have learned. Now, it is not about the PF, it's about the alliance collectively.
Yeah.
It's coming with people who have a different skill and different mentality on certain things. That's why a presidential candidate should be a man of justice, not a surrogate who will just bend and do things according to the regime. I will tell you that a number of people in the Patriotic Front have betrayed the Patriotic Front, are towing the line of the current regime, and they are still pursuing to be made candidates to stand against the incumbent, which I do not agree. There are those immoral individuals who have no cause to anything, who are only worthy money. We must not tolerate that, okay? Some of us will talk like this because we've been privileged to have worked with people that were capable at a certain point to fund the Patriotic Front. Some of us moved with money gotten from the bank through a check in millions, putting in a boot, gotten from the till legit money, and we take to these political activities. We are sent, take there, take there, take there. Not one coin was lost. So for some of us, we are not worth money. You can ask the people who have worked with, they'll tell you. So we are dealing with people who have crossed on the other side because they want protection, because they know they did certain wrong things. And once you support UPND, they forget about what you have done. But there's one strength that President Hichilema has shown. I think when you stand against him, and then you try, because you've seen now that you are on a hook, and you try to go to him to reason, he doesn't. It's like you cross one line with him, that's it. That is a strength. Maybe if that's how President Lungu was, he would be in power today, and he would be alive today. If he was that person who, when you know this one has betrayed me, you keep them at bay, maybe would be in power and he would be alive. But it's a man that believes that people can betray you, but you just have to use them at their point of strength. So PF has learned their lessons. Those alliance members that are coming up together to try and change the trajectory of this country's political space have learned their lesson, have got their own skills. So yes, there is hope for the Zambian people, and too much hope that this regime has failed. And it has failed to the extent that it can't redeem itself. The only thing that it can do is to continue tailoring the law to keep everyone who is against them in prison. Now, this is a problem that I have. I'll tell you this. President Hichilema psyched his people when he was in opposition with the notion that people hated him for who he was. So, in 2021, people from the other side voted for him 1.8. They defied that, say, no, no, you win. What has happened? He has continued to portray that picture and set out, say, people hate him. He was given an example the other day that he was telling NGO, why do you hate me? This government amended the constitution. This government amended the constitution. This government, because it's a church, you hate me so much. You don't want me to amend the constitution. And that is one thing you're going to find on social media for those people that support President Hichilema. When you criticize him, they will come and say, this person just hates President Hichilema. That came from President Hichilema himself. Now, when you have a president that tells people in the world that they just hate me, that is a dangerous sympathy you seek from people. And you make people begin to think, yes, this person is hated. He got 1.8 from 7 provinces, strongholds of PF, while they cooked 1 million from their stronghold. So who hates who? The people that voted for him, how is he treating them? So who hates who? God, even this podcast, if you go to the comment, you find people saying he just hates the president. Yet you are criticizing. When you have a government that does not have an opposition that criticizes it, it is one reason it fails. The other reason that UPND has failed is because it doesn't have a strong opposition. Why doesn't it have a strong opposition? It is destroying the strong opposition that's supposed to criticize it. What did Mwanawasa do when Sata was criticizing him? He was implementing what Sata was saying. He lost power in 2006, and he said, I have seen why Sata has won the election in these areas. In urban areas, majority people are tenants. And Sata said, you come and deal with a landlord whereby people shouldn't be paying more than 1 month in advance. He has said he's going to put up a law where there should be a limit, government should control how much rentals should be a certain standard. So this is why they voted for Sata. So Mwanawasa will say, okay, now I've seen, so I'm going to work on these things that Sata said. That is what a president should be. That's how a president should act, a patriot. He must listen to those that are criticizing him more than those that are praising them. That is what I would do, is to listen to my enemy, the one I consider an enemy, and their criticism. You realize that you can do more by listening to criticism than listening to praises. In the same way, what did Arabi do? Arabi will be told, hey, Arabi, Sata is doing this. Chisiye ni chabe, nichi nyante mu my election. Sata so tumikate chisiye ni chabe, nichi mbuya changa, nichi nyante my election. That is a father figure of a leader. Because you get to a point where I say, this is just politics. Ngala win, but therefore Africa beating every my election, we know. That's how Arabi would behave. And that's how Edgar Lungu behaved. No, and Mutina Shanari win up. 2021. He would say it openly, proudly to say, Chile Mutina Akainda, Namutini Nshi, Mufumi Nafuma Mjere, Chile Mutina, Nalimu beating up. Nafmino Kuchawamo when I'm beating and Astanashan. That is how a leader should be. Considering politics as just a game that you can either win or not. And the leader must be thinking at strategies and tactics in which you beat your opponent. That is what we expect. You understand? Now, when you look at it today, it's different. The UPND wants to suppress people. The UPND wants to intimidate people. The UPND does not want to have an opposition. So it's part of the reason why they have failed lamentably, because they have closed their ears from those that are criticizing them. They simply label them as they hate the president. If you came to me and tell me, if you faced President Hichilema like this, what would you tell him to do? I'll simply say, listen to the people that criticize you more than people that praise you. A person is going to tell you in cameras, Mr. President, you have failed because you can't fight corruption. You can't fire this one and this one and this one. You can't call that person that they hate you. What you do is, okay, they are saying I'm not fighting corruption. Let me try. Let him fire those people genuinely. Let him stop abusing the law and see how the social media would behave towards him, because he came through that platform. So these are things that you should know. Even when you're asking me, is there hope? There's too much hope. UPND has failed.
All right. Before we conclude, what can you tell the Zambian people, the viewers, the people who are watching us?
What I can tell the Zambian people that are watching us is that not all hope is lost. Yes, we lost President Lungu. We know what he stood for. We know what he did. His fingerprints are everywhere. Pafu abantu, pashala abantu. There is hope. A leader is going to emerge, and this leader is going to mobilize, and we will all rally behind that leader, and we ensure that the legacy of President Lungu, the man you loved so much, even in death, his legacy will be protected and that we will make sure that every good project that he undertook will be followed, it will be implemented, and many other ideas that he could have left to all of us that he talked to. We'll make sure that whoever that will emerge as a president will carry on the mantle. A lot of us had spoken to President Lungu at personal level. We knew what was in his mind, and we know that the famous Plan B that he talked about, we know that it may have been a secret to a lot of people, but Plan B was known to a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of priests know the Plan B. I'm sure a lot of our friendly ambassadors, a lot of other stakeholders that were very close to his heart understood what that Plan B was, because Plan B has been in effect from the time that he pronounced it. And some of us know that there is no change in that plan according to what President Lungu said to achieve and what he led us to believe about him. And in his death, we uphold his legacy and we make sure that we do more to honor his legacy. We believed Mr. Sata when he picked President Lungu. He knew why President Lungu was the best person to stand for us and continue his legacy. That's why we remained loyal to Sata to ensure that we supported the person that he left with us. And we were never disappointed. President Lungu carried the mantle and ensured that what was supposed to be done that Patriot Front said to achieve was achieved. So even now, when we embark on the politics that is going to start soon when we have buried our president, we are going to make sure that the person that could have been in his mind, the person that could have understood what needs to be done, does what is necessary so that this continues to ensuring Zambia remains a peaceful and democratic state and a home to the homeless from world over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chanda. For those new viewers, you can follow us on our Facebook page at Headlines with Headliners, and also you can follow us on Grindstone TV, Smart Eagles, and other media platforms. Until next time, from me, your host, Sheba Msunga, and Mr. Prince Chanda, thank you very much for watching. Have a blessed night.